coverage is being brought to you by...
Here's Rudd coming down on the inside. Jeff Gordon's next.
This is the battle for fifth. Rudd with a half a car length ahead as we jump inside Rusty Wallace's Pontiac.
He's right there looking to make a pass as well. And Hut Strickland trying to get back down on the inside. He might have done it. I think he did right there in front of Jeff Gordon.
You can't even see the number on the left side of Hut Strickland's car with 22 laps to go. It's completely covered with black tire marks. There is Jeff Gordon right behind Hut Strickland. Already led 4 races in 1993, and
Jeff Gordon spins going into turn 1.
Hard contact.
Yes, he was down on the inside of Strickland.
And again, a fire breaks out. And a pretty significant fire blazing at the rear end of the DuPont Chevrolet.
It's just at the rear of the car. It's just at the rear. There was some fire. We see Jeffrey scrambling out of there. Get out of there, baby. There we go. And he went in front of the fire truck there.
Yeah, he's okay. Throws up his hand to everybody that he is okay, but his race car is not so well right now. Jeff was racing hard. He had just gone on the inside of Hut Strickland, got inside him in turns 3 and 4 as he put the fire out, and then going into turn 1, he cleared Hut, but I don't know if he got into some of that speedy dry going into the turn or what, but the back end just broke loose and around he went. Let's see if we can see what happens here. There he is on the inside of Hut Strickland, the McDonald's Ford. And you see, yes, he did. He got into that quick dry down on the inside, got his left wheels on it, and he just broke traction and up into the wall he went.
And we can see the gasoline come out of the car, and it ignites. I'll tell you, thank goodness for fuel cells. You know, they just, those rubber gas tanks, they break the top out of the gas tank, and some gas.
At the First Union 400 at North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina, we're looking from behind the Pontiac pace car. We're in our second caution period, the most recent one brought out by an accident involving Jeff Gordon. Here's Jerry.
Well, rookie sensation Jeff Gordon has made his way back to the garage area. And Jeffrey, first of all, heck of a lick. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, it tore the car up pretty bad. What happened was I got underneath Hut Strickland down the back straightaway. We rubbed a few times, got into 3 and 4, and he come down on me, and you know, we just rubbed a little bit more, and I got underneath them, come down the front straightaway, went to hit the brakes, and the pedal just went to the floor. I pumped it up, must have broke a brake line or something when we got together. I don't know how it could have, but what happened, but it just drove into turn 1 with no brakes, and I finally got some pressure enough to get the car sideways, and it backed it in the wall, and just tore the thing up pretty bad.
Well, Jeff Gordon able to smile. They're waiting for the car to come back to the garage area as he's headed over to talk to Ray Evernham, his crew, and Rick Hendrick and the crew waiting on the DuPont Chevrolet to come in the garage area, but a tough break for a very talented young driver.
Jeff Gordon certainly with a bright future ahead of him, finding the Winston Cup circuit, well, a little bit tougher maybe than he had anticipated. Had a great run a couple of times during this year, but he's also had some very tough luck in some races.
In fact, Bob, he's had good runs in every race, and especially those that he finished, but this is his 4th DNF, did not finish so far this year, and that really hurts you as far as points. We pointed out that he was in 10th place in the points coming into this race, but he has been very impressive.
So that means that the crews will go to work on this car, and obviously they're going to have to do a lot of work on the car to get it ready. And of course the pit crews,
Bob, for some, the best thing about coming to the racetrack is you have to leave at 5 o'clock. NASCAR shuts down, so you're able to go back to the motel and get some sleep. Some crews this week has had some sleepless nights. Believe it or not, the 15, Jeff Bodine, the 6, Mark Martin, and the 24, Jeff Gordon. Remember how torn up they were last week in North Wilkesboro? These are the same cars that they had last week.
And I'm sure fans wonder, well, why didn't they take one of those many other cars that they have in their shop and bring here and not spend all of those sleepless nights? Well, you get a race car that really works, one that you like, get dialed in, and you want to bring it back. And evidently it worked for Jeff Bodine because he brought that torn-up Motorcraft Ford here and sat on the pole. Mark Martin won this race last year, so he wanted to come back here in the same car. Jeff Gordon has run so good at every track this year, so he wanted the car that's been carrying him so fast.
And all 3 cars are on the front stretch, which is a great advantage.
At Martinsville, we're about to go green after this caution period. Now, the question was when we left you, should Dale Earnhardt go into second? Now watch, he will cross the line right there at the end of pit road, and he will reach that point before Kyle Petty comes along. There's Kyle. So Dale should go into second, and he will. Now, the other story occurred on pit road.
On the other side of the pit road. Here we see Jeff Gordon coming down pit road. See the McDonald's car sitting in the pits? Well, Jeff Gordon comes in his pits. They're changing right sides on the McDonald's car. The right side is up. Gordon comes in, and there he hits the 27 car, knocks it off the jack. Now then, the 27 has to go back, jack it up. He loses a lap. The 27 car, the McDonald's car, is a lap down. NASCAR penalized the 24 car a lap for the contact on pit road.
And so both Hut Strickland and Jeff Gordon are a lap down to the field as the green comes out. We go back to racing, and there's a contact there between Earnhardt and Strickland in turn number 4. Slowly.
Boy, had run so well all the day.
Jerry Punch with Hut Strickland.
After starting on the front row, he now sits in the car behind the wall trying to cool off with Hut. The air coming out of that hose is pretty warm, but what happened to the car?
I'm not really for sure, Jerry. I think it stripped a gear in the rear end. I come off turn 2 over there, trying to get my lap back there. You know, we had a little miss out there in the pits, and Jeff Gordon knocked us off the jack. But, you know, that's racing. You know, we'll come back next week at Talladega and get them.
And there is Jeff Gordon, the DuPont Automotive Finishes Chevrolet. Picking his nose for the last time. He was scratching his nose. No, he was scratching. I'm sorry, he was scratching his nose.
Getting a little bit of perspiration out of there. So
The DuPont Chevrolet is one of those.
this is Jeff Gordon's vantage point.
He's somewhere in the middle of the pack. I see Bob looking for a position, but when he come by the start-finish line at 4 abreast, I don't know how they figure it out.
And we haven't heard from John Kernan, our other pit reporter. Here he is.
Well, Bob, Jeff Gordon has just radioed in and told Ray Evernham that the car is running just a little bit hot. Ray says, just be calm. The first pit stop will take a piece of tape off of it. You'll be okay. Now, you remember, he had that great run down at Daytona, winning one of the Twin 125 qualifying races. They qualified 30th this weekend, same car, same motor. Ray says, hey, we're a bunch of rookies. What do you expect? We can't go out and win them all or do well in all of them.
Pit road early on lap number 13. The time.
And talking about country music, we got a guy visiting here in the pit with us, Travis Tritt, famous country music recording star. Now, you're down here in the Budweiser pit with Bill Elliott, but you've got a lot of friends in racing.
I tell you what, man, it's just great to be out here. I'm a big race fan. To get an opportunity to come down and see this firsthand, it's unbelievable. So far, fairly uneventful race, but at 196 miles an hour, I guess you don't want any events.
That'll put you on the spot now. You're a Georgia boy, and you're in the Elliott pit, but you're good friends with Earnhardt. Who do you pull for down here?
Well, you got to pull for, you know, for both of them, really. I mean, I love Bill Elliott. I love the fact that he's from Georgia, but, you know, when you're running as well as Earnhardt has run all year, you got to pull for him, too. I just want to see the best car win.
Good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Travis Tritt, country music recording artist and a big fan of NASCAR racing.
Back into the pack. You never know when you might get into some kind of a mix-up. Jerry gets on the inside of Jeff Gordon, and Gordon goes all the way to the top.
Here comes Davey Allison. Davey going by Jeff Gordon.
Davey has won this race 3 of the last 6 times.
His car has been good today. He's Davey Allison. He has stayed in the lead lap, but he hasn't been one of those that's just been able to consistently go to the front when he gets behind.
Like Dale Earnhardt today.
Yeah. Rusty Wallace.
Rusty Wallace.
That's every time.
Here's another Autolite field summary.
Jeff Gordon goes on the corner, leads Derek Cope, Morgan Shepherd, and Morgan Shepherd, that hood is tape. All that red is red tape where they've stuck it back together again after the crash up there. But it looks like the car isn't hurt that bad. It's running awfully well.
Here is another angle.
Here they come down through there. Jarrett and Rusty Wallace side by side. Dale trying to get down on the inside, trying to go down. And looks like he just touched Rusty, and The car, just like Daytona, started flying. It goes up in the air. I thought maybe it was going to do like Jimmy Spencer did last year and cut back on its wheels, but it didn't. It caught. And here it goes again.
There is a huge cheer going up from the grandstand just opposite of where Rusty's car has come to a rest, and we assume that the cheers are because he is out of the car, or at least they can see that he has received no serious.
Take a look at our starting lineup here. 42 strong. On the pole, Ron Hornaday Jr., the defending series champion. Doug George, the current point leader outside row 1. Ken Schrader, Winston Cup star, and Kenny Hendrick, the young driver, starts the car number 9 in 4th spot. Row 3, Tom Hubert, last year's pole sitter, and Dale Williams, a rookie. Row 4, Jeff Gordon and Rudy Revac. Back to row 5, Brian Germoni, former Rookie of the Year, and last year's Rookie of the Year, Stephen Portingay. As you look at the rest of our starters, some pretty good cars starting toward the back of the field, Ernie, and this track Lucidity opening of the show, a very good place to be able to make up some time.
Well, they can come from the back and make it right to the front if their car's handling good, and I look for that to happen. You got a good one there, Davey Allison. He's won here before, and I think he can make it to the front.
There are 3 Winston Cup regulars in the day's race. As you continue to look at our starting lineup, we mentioned Ken Schrader in the field, Davey Allison, and Jeff Gordon. Now, Terry Labonte was scheduled to drive this race in the car number 63, owned by Alan Beebe. But since Terry Labonte sustained a rib injury at Talladega, he had to sit out today. And Ken Peterson, who won this race a couple of years ago and a very, very impressive road course driver, will get the start in that machine today. And hustles the car with Doug George, a car length back at lap 3.
Jeff Gordon making a good move on the outside going into turn 1, and it looks like he made it.
Behind him would be the car number 9. That's Kenny Hendrick, who was the twin brother of the late Kara Hendrick, and what a talent she was, Ernie.
Yeah, she sure was. A great midget driver and a real asset to our sport.
Small at 150 or so miles an hour. Hornaday comes into turn 7 again, takes this turn very well. Boy, he has it down pat. Didn't gain a great deal on Doug George that lap, maybe a couple of car lengths from the time they left here before. Here's the car number 63 making a pass on Jeff Gordon. That's Ken Peterson moving around Jeff Gordon.
The field now passing by, coming up to the gearbox to full speed at the top of the hill toward turn 2. Car number 5, Brian Germoni, has looped around, former Rookie of the Year. Has a couple of cars coming together, coming out of turn 2. Germoni's trying to get the car refired. Now has it spinning some dirt back on the racetrack. The 1990 Rookie of the Year in the Featherlite Southwest Tour. Runs this track awfully well, and I would imagine he had a little bit of help there. And here, let's take a look here, Ernie.
This is awful tight quarters coming up into turn 2. Looks like Jeff Gordon's up under him, and he just kind of didn't know Jeff was there, and kind of came down, they got together.
Kenny Hendrick, originally from Chino, California, now lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, where he works for the Richard Petty Driving Experience School. Along with Rodney Combs, he's a member of that school teaching people to drive on ovals and road courses, and he's certainly given a lot of folks lessons today because he's hanging on to that spot, 4th in the field right now in that Pontiac Trans Am. After 20 of 50 laps, here's how they run right now. Charlie Saeed, Jim Englebright, Ron Peterson, Ray Hooper Jr., and Kenny Shepard in the top 5. 6 through 10, Randy Olson, and they're the cars that pitted. Jeff Gordon, the first one off of pit road. Ken Schrader, Randy Laskowski did not pit, and Dale Williams did pit. Now here's why they're pitting: the engine combinations. Look here, they can run a V6 or a V8, 102-inch wheelbase. The V6 engines weigh 2950, the V8s weigh 2900 to 3050, depending upon whether they're open compression or a 9-to-1 compression. So the V6s get awfully good fuel mileage, and some of those cars that pitted, most of them that pitted were indeed V6s.
Look at Jeff Gordon. He's really making a move towards the front. He's got Hornaday behind him. Be interested to see if he can hold him off.
And you know, Jeff Gordon grew up in Vallejo, about 15 miles from here, but never raced at this racetrack. Left California. Look at Hornaday on the outside trying to go back, Gordon, and the other car on the outside in front of you, Ned.
Boy, he brought that thing in a hurry and went on that outside, and it stuck. I couldn't believe that it would stick.
Hornaday just took a shot on the 20 car and beat him into turn 1, and he's already in the lead. Now we have Jeff Gordon. Oh, he was up underneath the 20 car.
The 20 car not coming up to speed as we thought it might have, and Hornaday just blew past him. Gordon almost made the pass. The battle now for second spot headed toward Benny Parsons, BP.
And Gary, this is exactly why Jeff Gordon is running on the Saturday race, the Budweiser 200, trying to get some seat time, some experience at Sears Point Raceway. As I said, he grew up in Vallejo about 20 miles per year, but he's never driven this racetrack. He needs experience. He's going to try to outbrake the 20 car. Can't make the pass. Yeah, he is. The 20 car goes wide. Jeff Gordon gets by to take over second place.
And they go right up pit road where John Kernan is standing by. John? Dickerson is trying to make his way toward the front.
Looks like some smoke out of that Jeff Gordon car, Ned.
Yes, it did look like some smoke that came up the straightaway. He slows into turn. They get together, and around goes the car number 24 of Jeff Gordon. I don't know if he was having braking problems or what the situation was. He gets it righted, though, and heads on back out. But he's lost a lot of positions. He was second.
And Jeff Gordon, who had never seen this racetrack until he came here earlier this week and took a driving school, went to school to learn some road racing, and a good qualifying run. But now he has troubles here toward turn 7. Ned?
Well, he comes in, he slows and goes wide, and then the car number 20 of Englebright comes on the inside a little bit too hard and hits him, spins Gordon around.
Hope there's no more cautions, but that's probably a pretty far-fetched thing.
And look here at the second place car. Englebright has a problem sitting dead in the water somewhere on the race course.
Benny, actually, he has come to rest up on the drag strip. He's pulled the car up through the main straightaway and parked the car. He's out of harm's way. There you see the car. The cars come underneath the NASCAR Winston Cup Bridge and make that left-hand turn to go up to turn 1. He has pulled his car off. Here's a car that didn't voluntarily pull off, the car number 47. That's Lee Sutton. And now Jeff Gordon has made his way to pit road, and John Kernan is there. John?
Eddie Dickerson, the crew, told me just moments ago he's got an engine problem. The engine temperature had gone way up, and now it looks like perhaps one of the water hose coming back from the radiator has actually come off. Yes, that's what they're working on right now. So what a tough break for Jeff Gordon. You can see there they've got the water hose out where it goes into the thermostat area, and now they're trying to put it back on. So a tough break for Jeff Gordon.
It's not just a tough break for Jeff Gordon, it's a tough break for Ken Schrader. That's Ken Schrader's V6 in Jeff Gordon's car.
And Kenny was going to save that engine to run at Charlotte in the Busch race and said, but Rick Hendrick wanted to borrow it back for Jeff Gordon. And Kenny said, okay, fine, borrow it, but please be easy with it.
Please be easy.
Yeah, well, a little trouble there for Jeff Gordon as he pulls the gloves off, and the phenomenal rookie driver gets ready to climb out. And there's been a lot of discussion about him as you're watching Ron Hornaday, and Jeff Gordon has a lot of talent.
Jeff has a whole bunch of talent, and he's 21 years old, and he's really handling himself well. And you know, when I was 21, if I had that kind of talent and to be able to look ahead like he can right now, unbelievable.
Quite a few of them there. The latest one to lead, car number 66, being shown on a race, and that is Mark McDemere, who is the road test editor for Motor Trend magazine. Other out of the race recently, who last caution flag and picked up his cars out on the field, including Kenny Hendrick in the car number 9, who was among the early front runners.
Well, Jerry, Ron Hornaday Jr. certainly proved that he's got a lot of people to be thankful to today, and also third time can be the charm.
Indeed, John, as you look at these final results, he led 41 laps of the 50. And, guys, there were some impressive racing performances today out there on this road course.
Well, the road courses always give you a lot of action, Jerry. And, yes, it is interesting to see the different driving patterns and the action that there was. We saw a lot of cars get in trouble and get off the racetrack. Fortunately, no one was hurt. And you can see some good drivers finish pretty far back down the line.
Yeah, we see Doug George back about the 20th spot. He was the Southwest Tour points leader going into today's race, so he might have lost the lead today.
And Mike Kofer, the 49ers kicker, had to call it a day early in the hot shoes car. And our points today, Ron Hornaday will assume the point lead. He came into this race 48 points behind.
Well, we'll see what happens. He comes up on Jeff Gordon and maybe had to hit the brakes going into that turn, and the back end just gets around and he can never get it back. Bob, I started to say back when I was driving race cars.
By the way, up there where Jimmy Spencer spun, the guy that was in front of him, Jeff Gordon, also spun in that section of the racetrack just a lap before that. You saw that there were, 26 cars, I believe, on the lead lap with Jeff Gordon, the last car on the lead lap. And he's not too far ahead of Dale Earnhardt and Ernie Irvan. And Gordon considers this his home racetrack before he moved to Indiana, where he could drive sprint cars. He lived just down the road in Vallejo, California.
As Terry Labonte gets on the outside of Bill Elliott, Dale Jarrett and Davey Allison are right there. Don't know if Terry can make the pass. I believe he has. And here's Jeff Gordon spinning out right as you come off of turn 7.
Jeff Bodine spins. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Bill Elliott. Oh, and separate. Now Terry Labonte is up on the bank. Elliott backs into the guardrail, and all kinds of problems here.
Well, they were running side by side as they started through the S's, Bob, and apparently.
Here's the 68 car that's driven by Dorsey Schrader. He's running in 9th position. And that blue car there, the 22, that's Bobby Labonte. And because of lack of pit space here, Labonte was one of 3 drivers that had to pit in the garage area. He's done a fine job getting up to 10th. And here's the rookie points race. Jeff Gordon, who is 16th, is the leader in that battle, with Kenny Wallace 2nd and Bobby Labonte in 3rd place.
Well, I guarantee you we're going to have a better show than last year. Same drivers, tons of money to be won in the Winston, but I think one of the guys out of the Winston Open stands a real good chance. I'm picking Jeff Gordon to win it all.
The Open and the Winston. Wow. Well, let's meet the man, the fleet rookie, that in qualifying has put his car on the pole for this preliminary race that will transfer 5 drivers into the All-Star event. It's the Winston Open, and they're lined up in the garage area. Glenn Jarrett is with the pole sitter.
Well, Mike, last year may have been one hot night. This is one hot rookie. This guy has turned stock car racing on its ear. Jeff Gordon got one of the fastest cars here this week. This is your first Winston. You'd really love to qualify for that Winston by winning this Winston Open, wouldn't you?
Oh, we sure would. It only takes the top 5, but we sure would like to go out there and win it. Car's running real good tonight. Let's just see what happens, but we're going to try to hang loose, run our own race, and learn a lot from this race, and hopefully travel it over to the Winston and see if we can have something for him then.
Well, best of luck to you. He's won the last 2 races that he's run here, so, buddy, your money may be safe betting on Jeff Gordon. Good luck, Jeff. Now let's go a little further back in the pack to Randy Pemberton. He's talking to somebody else who wants to qualify tonight.
We've already had some great racing. The Little Dwarf Legends cars and the NASCAR Sportsman cars ran nearly caution-free in their 100-mile event. More on that later on. But now, the Winston Open is set to get fired off. Sears Diehard, with more power when you need it most, presents the starting grid for the Winston Open. Jeff Gordon won both Busch races here last year. He's on the pole. Brett Bodine finished 2nd in this race in 1989. Rick Mast ran 4th in the Open 2 years ago. Rick Wilson, 8th last week at Sears Point. Row 3, Mike Waltrip won this event the last 2 years. Back-to-back winner Sterling Marlin. Bill Parsons, his first run in the Open since '87, and Derek Cope, a former Daytona winner. Jimmy Spencer, runner-up at Talladega this month, and Bobby Labonte, the former Busch Series champion. In row 6, Wally Dallenbach finished 7th at Sears Point, and Ted Musgrave makes his 2nd Open start. Greg Sachs, 3rd here a year ago. Lake Speed, runner-up in '87. Bobby Hillin Jr., former winner at Talladega, and Rich Bickle, top driver at nearby Concord Speedway. Kenny Wallace, one of the top rookie crop, and Dave Marcus, the veteran. Hut Strickland, 2nd last year, and Jimmy Horton, his 5th appearance. Dick Trickle won this race 3 years ago, and P.J. Parnelli Jones Jr. in the Harry Melling car. Row 12, John Krebs from the Winston West Series, and Ken Schrader had trouble in qualifying. He's way back in 24. T.W. Taylor from the Sportsman Division, and veteran independent Jimmy Means. Jerry O'Neill entering his 4th Winston Open, and Johnny Chapman, a rookie. Former ARCA champ Bill Venturini has scratched Norm Benning from Pennsylvania. James Hilton, who won Talladega in '72, and Jerry Hill, his first Charlotte start, Chad Little, new race team for Redskin quarterback Mark Rippon, will start last. 33 cars scheduled to take the green. There are 32 lined up. Bill Venturini crashed this afternoon in practice, transported to Cabarrus Memorial Hospital where x-rays proved negative. Car's torn up. He will not start the race tonight.
Like you were talking about Jeff Gordon sitting on the pole. We're talking about taking you for a fast ride with his cameras. He's in the Winston Open, but his car was fast as any car in the Winston. He's had the fastest car here all week in practice, so he's certainly got a car getting the job done right here.
Gordon, remember, had a shot to win the Daytona 500. Impressive feat for a rookie. Of course, he set an all-time record for Busch Series poles last year before moving up to the senior circuit of stock car racing. Oldsmobile safety car leads them around in this field. 18 Fords, 9 Chevrolets, 4 Pontiacs, 1 Oldsmobile. That's Norm Benning out of Pennsylvania. This place is packed. The backstretch grandstand, a few seats in the bottom rows, but the front stretch side is filled to capacity. The suites, the Speedway Club, this is the race everybody wants to be at.
And the garage.
Yes.
The garage is full today.
The memory of last year's finish, all too fresh. It wasn't just the finish, it was a great night of racing. And it begins right here with the Winston Open. 50 laps. Green flag. Jeff Gordon's barely the gearbox. Now as they hit top gear, Brett Bodine is going to drop in, and they'll have a 2-car length margin on the rest of the field.
They would like to have that all night. There are a couple of guys would like to get away from this pack. They're going to transfer 5 cars. You'll see these guys try to work and get away.
Our aerial helicopter camera will give you some play-by-play shots tonight, courtesy of the folks at Ray Bestis. Here they come to complete lap number 1. Now you see how this is a quad oval. There's the first dogleg, little short straightaway here at the start-finish line, and there's the second. And Jeff Gordon leads this field.
Wow, look at this shot. You talk about a car moving along.
Not past James Hilton. Just taking little bites out of the wheel, buddy.
Man, I tell you, that makes you homesick there. I'd like to do that again for a little while anyhow.
That's the good part that makes you homesick. Look out the rearview mirror and see if all of them chases you. You never get on those conditions.
Gordon, your leader. Bodine in second. That's Brett Bodine, Rick Mass, Sterling Marlin, and Mike Walter on the bubble. Ahead of Derek Cope, Lake Speed, Wally Dollenbach, Bill Parsons, and now up to 10th place, Ken Schrader. This car is on rails.
Yeah, when we saw Gordon working the steering wheel just a minute ago, there goes real loose right there. I just hit the wall. Oh. When he was jerking the wheel, like I was going to say, it looked like he had a loose condition and trying to catch the car continuously through the corner. We were watching him in. He drove off in the corner, and the back end just came out from under the car. Looks to climb out of it. He's okay.
Awesome flight. Brett Bodine picks up the lead. Well, if he was on rails, that's yesterday's train coming in.
Yep, there he goes. He's called on the radio on the steering wheel, so he's okay.
The Simpson gloves, full fire suit, all the Butler built seating equipment in that car, release steering wheel, and all of it now of no further use.
And one angry young man, I guarantee you, because he had everything going. He just can't make little errors. You know, he was running really good.
Let's show you what happened to our race leader, the man who led every one of the first 22 laps.
Well, he goes down in the corner just like every other lap. The car actually breaks loose before he ever got into the corner. Do you notice that, Neil?
Yeah, looked like the back end came around. I think he had called him and told him he had a loose condition, and it must have been getting worse instead of better. You know, I was concerned myself when they said it's going to get better. Usually a loose condition gets to be a good bit of a handful before the race is over, but it looked like it just broke loose under him.
Let's have it from another angle.
Okay, he's already got the wheels cut before he gets in the corner there, so it was loose going down into the corner. That's definitely a loose condition for some reason.
You know, we saw the tires. We had a good shot. All 4 wheels still had air in them when they first turned off in. There's no doubt they're flat now because he's sliding on those things, blowing them out. But it looked like when he turned around, he had air in it. Maybe the right rear was low.
Yeah, I wonder if that right rear was down before he got up to the wall. We'll find out later. Let's have a look from in-car, from Jeff Gordon's car. Watch and listen. the race car and our camera. We are back to green. Let's get down to Randy Pemberton. He's standing by with the man who was the pole sitter and led the first part of this race, Jeff Gordon.
Well, Jeff's trying to get back to his race car right now, but Jeff, did you feel anything and what happened?
No, I mean, the car was driving beautiful. It was a little bit loose, off the corner, but it was fine getting in. And, I mean, I probably drove in easier that time than I did any other time. And, I don't know what happened. I mean, the car just started to break loose and boom, it went. Had no clue it was going to do it.
You radioed earlier that the car was loose. Did you think it was going to get better and it didn't?
Well, yeah, I thought it was going to get better, and I think it would have, but, I mean, I wasn't driving it. I kept driving it easier and easier as we went on.
Okay, well, of course, Jeff very upset. He was expecting to run that car in the 600 next week. They'll have to do a lot of work on it back at the shop.
You see at this point that right rear tire is flat. Might it have been flat going in the corner?
Mike, all I can tell you is it looked strange. It didn't look like it was supposed to happen. And he said he was loose off the corner, and he was going in, the car was going perfect, and all of a sudden he just turned right. I don't know, maybe something broke on the car.
Man, something you got to weigh into it. This guy might be a rookie, but he's not a rookie at driving at these racetracks. I can't help but think something out of the ordinary did happen where a guy let Jeff Gordon the car to get out from under him that quick. You could see it in his face. He was puzzled what happened.